Good evening, everyone. Please, if you can hear me, let me get a response from you.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Please, can you kindly tell us your name and where you are joining from?
My name is Emmanuel Joseph,
Okay,
um, and I'm joining from Nigeria.
all right. You are welcome. And I also have Shalom. Shalom, you are highly welcome. Please, may I know
Uh,
your name as well and where you are joining from?
My name is Shalom and I'm joining from United Kingdom.
You're from United Kingdom. All right. And then I also have Michael. Michael, please, if you could just tell us your name and where you are joining from.
My name is Michael and I'm joining from Delta State.
From Delta States. All right. So you are all welcome. We shall be starting in the next, let's say, 3 minutes. And I encourage us to reach out to our friends and loved ones that you feel this opportunity is actually going to be beneficiary to. Send a link. Feel free to share the Zoom link with them so that they can be here because we are really about to learn much today. So let's do that in the next 2 to 3 minutes and make sure that you do not sign out because I'll be starting soon. All right, so I believe we can start now. I want us to get our writing materials ready. Please kindly listen to the following information in order for us to have a seamless experience while training. I would like us to make sure that we remain muted, except you want to ask questions. I hope that is taken by everyone. This to avoid interference between my sound and yours. Please, we advise that you keep yours muted, except you have a question. And while the class is going on, you are free to jot down because most of the things I will be teaching us tonight are actually prepared across slides. So it means that while I am explaining the content of the slide, you have the privilege of going through it or probably take your key points. All right, so just before I start, I just want to officially introduce the platform featuring me to train you tonight. This is DigiTech Hub, an online platform put together by a set of professionals, people who have spent a reasonable time in the field of technology, particularly training and services. So this platform is rich with so many packages you can actually learn from us. We organize free training sections like this. But beyond this, we also have a master class or master classes where we teach you everything about a particular domain. Say, for instance, you register for cybersecurity. The master class will give you an avenue of scheduling the class probably according to the way you want it. So there's high level of flexibility in the master class section. But this is just one time free section. So which means that after this section, after the training stop. It does not continue except we decide to come up with another version, which might not really be this particular aspect we want to focus on in this training. So we also offer training on data analytics, Data analytics is a professional program that is highly trendy due to the high demand in the market out there. It is a technological field where you learn how to reprocess data and be able to draw actionable insights that can influence smart decision making. As we all know today, almost every organization cannot do without data. So data is becoming unavoidable. Smart decision makers depends on data. Now, we also offer training on web development, which falls under programming. So under web development, we are going to teach you coding, how you can write computer instruction that the computer can adhere to, and thereby producing tangible results. And we train both on the front end and the back end of websites, which means that you are going to be exposed to different programming languages, the ones that are basically for creating the user's end, which is known as the front end, and the ones that are also for the back end, which is also known as the administrative part of a website. So the web development package is so rich because you will be exposed to so many programming languages. So we also offer training on Python. Python, we have a special customized section, which I'm going to be holding next week. It's still going to be free for the first 2 classes. Python is one of the AI leading programming language out there that is almost interconnected or related to every aspect of technology as we all know today. So it's a language that you must learn if you want to really diversify in the area of technology. So we have graphic design, we have 650, we have AutoCAD for the engineering students and professional. So beyond this, there are other programs, but because of the training focus, time will not really permit me to go through all the programs. But I believe that as you keep following us on this journey, you'll get to know more about the program we offer. All right, so we are also registered. We are empowered to issue certification at the end of the training. So perhaps you even need internationally recognized certification. We are affiliated with an organization that can, through us, we can get it for you. So quickly, without taking much of your time, I will start by introducing myself. I'm one of the leading faculty on this platform called Digital Z Hub. By the special grace of God, I have mentored a lot of persons. I've graduated not less than 6,000 individuals across Nigeria and the globe. I train on data analytics, cybersecurity, web development, graphic design, accounting packages, AutoCAD. So almost in all the lucrative and the driving force of technology, you will find me there. And I've spent not less than 19 to 20 years in tutoring in this particular field. So I will be your mentor and I will be your instructor tonight. And I want you to sit back, make sure you get a bottle of water because it's going to be a kind of marathon training. But however, I understand that we have some teenagers among us. I am not going to be that too fast so that they can actually go home with something. But please, the best way you can encourage us so that we can keep organizing program like this for you is to help us to spread the good news. Please help us to, you can snap the screen as I'm teaching now, send it to a friend or send the WhatsApp link to them so that they can join that group where they can get daily updates, or you share the Zoom link, the ID, the passcode to a friend or a loved one for them to join here. All right, so let's dive into what I have for you tonight. And I hope I am going to make impacts. All right, so let's start with now there is a reason why we are actually organizing this training, particularly those of you, the teenagers that are here. Make sure that you pay good attention, because I observed the last time I organized the free training, coding training, I noticed some of you were having issue managing the system. And that is the reason why I also advise you guys should also join here, so that to make the class of next Saturday easier for you. So this particular training is designed to give us a very strong foundation. I just told us now I've spent over 19 years in this field. So I can categorically tell you that there are some individuals who dive into technology without having a good foundation, and they are strongly out there. But I pray that yours will not be that, because you are opportune to join this particular session. So my focus is, I'm going to assume that this is your first time of coming across computer as a device. So I'm going to teach us from that perspective, assuming that we have not learned anything about computer prior now. So quickly, let's look at general introduction to computer. General introduction to computer. General introduction to computer. So in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to spend 2 hours with you. In the next 30 minutes, let me just give us the proper scope. Now, what I'm expected to cover within the 2-hour schedule for this program at this particular edition is the computer appreciation, and then familiarizing you with the Microsoft Windows and its environment, so that you know how to manage the computer operating system itself. And then I am also going to walk us through Microsoft Word. Then in between, I'm going to blend it with what? Internet. So it's going to be an exciting time. So make sure that you do not time out. Okay. All right. So let's start let me start by giving you the highlights of what you should be looking forward to learn in this section. So what you will learn in this section: number one, general introduction to computer, makeup of computer systems. So we are going to know what actually formulates the entire computer system. And then we are also going to learn Microsoft Windows. And then we are going to also look at some of its functions. And then we are also going to look at some of the types, and also how to manage icons. So these are the fundamental topics that you should know when breaking into technology. Then we are also going to look at Microsoft Office Word. We are going to look at the introduction, how to apply it. And then also we are going to be exposed to some basic word processing command that can help us to transform our entries. So quickly, let's start with what is computer? What is computer? So I will start by asking some of us that are here. I just need one person to unmute and give me or tell me how he or she understand computer before this class. I just need one person. Just unmute and tell me how you understand the term computer before now. Quickly, quickly, quickly. Okay. Okay. Joseph, go ahead. Go ahead.
A computer is a technology.
Is it technology? Okay. How will you define it? How will you define it based on what it does? How can you define what computer system is in terms of function? Okay, Shalom, go ahead.
It handles types of the datas, including numbers,
Okay,
pictures, and
it handles
other things.
data, including numbers and the rest. Okay, so I have one additional person who just joined us, Flourish. Flourish, you are welcome. Please, I hope you are following. All right, so now let's quickly dive into it. So Flourish, before you join, I said, please, we should share the link, the ID with friends, updates across your social media, share the Zoom link, let people dive in here. Right.
Okay.
Now, let's quickly start with what is a computer system? What is computer? A computer is an electronic device that processes data. So I want us to take note of some of the keywords I'm going to be using, such as processing what? Data. Let me use this so that we can flow very well. Now, the words I'm going to be underlining, they are very key. We understand their functions as regards to the definition of computer. So when we say a computer is an electronic, what we are simply saying that it is a device. It is a device that can only be powered with electricity. That is the meaning. So that you do not misinterpret it for a mechanical device, neither what a manual device. So it is an electronic device. Now, the word device is another keyword that we need to understand when starting with the computer. A device in this context represents an object that facilitates, that makes certain operation faster. Okay? So when we say a computer is an electronic device, we are simply saying that it is an object, it is a machine that enhances processes. And that is one of the reasons why everyone today, all organizations are gearing towards adopting computer as a technology for performing their day-to-day activities, because we have discovered that it makes work faster. So I believe that is clear. Now, the definition continues by saying that processes data. So another keyword here is data, which I'm going to explain. But let me just dwell on the word processing. Now, when we say processing, we are talking about engaging the processor. So there can never be processing without what? Acknowledging the processor. So what is now the processor? Now, the Charles Babbage that discovered computer actually designed it from his own body structure. In your body right there, you have a memory, you have the brain. So in computer, there is also a unit called the processor, which in this context represents the brain. Now, what we are saying is that the processor is the one that encodes, is the one that decodes, is the one that gives instruction. Okay? So the computer can never produce anything without the processor processing something. So what is the processor is capable of processing? There can never be the word processing without acknowledging that the information is below standard. I want you to take note of that. For you to say you want to process data, it means you have automatically acknowledged that to a certain extent, the data, the information is substandard. So you want to improve. So that is where the processor comes in. The processor is the one that will transform, but it needs applications to do that. And that is what we are going to understand when we get to Microsoft Word. So it's just like it needs some, some medium of getting that job done. Okay? But the work of the processor is the one that generates the speed the computer are run with. So there can never be speed without the processor. Okay? But the processor alone cannot generate the speed and also what? Run with the speed. It's just like a car that is produced to run certain speed. But if the road is not free, that car cannot fully utilize what? The desired speed. So the processor is the one that generates the speed. But it needs the RAM. It needs the RAM. Let me see if I can illustrate some of this. So it needs the RAM to run with the speed. So the RAM means random access memory. Random access memory. So it's part of the computer system memory, but it is classified under what? Volatile memory. So when we say volatile and non-volatile, volatile means that what? That particular storage has the capacity to lose its content whenever the computer is not powered or when the computer is not active. So that is why you notice that individuals that work with system always sound here now and then Control S, which means that they are aware that once the computer start processing, once the processors come up, the RAM as the internal storage starts saving whatever the processor is processing. But it does not have the ability to hold those data the moment the processor is switched off. And the moment you switch off your computer, the processor stops working. And that is why if you are a computer user that does not save subsequently, it means that as soon as you switch off your computer, you do no longer have access to what you must have saved. So it is very dangerous that an expert depend on the RAM. The RAM should not be depended on because it is only a storage unit that only stores information while the processor is active. Okay? I believe that is clear. So I need to get a feedback from at least one person. One person should unmute and say, "Sir, I am following you." Sharp, 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 sharp. One person should unmute and say, "Sir, I'm following you."
So I'm following you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, good. So you can unmute now. All right. So now let's quickly look at the data. The term data means raw facts, unprocessed information. In the world of computer, unprocessed information are referred to as what? Data. Now, it means that the whole essence of engaging the computer is because we have acknowledged that there are raw data that the manual is not able to do for us or upgrade to the standard we actually want it. So the whole world is now adopting a technology called computer because it has processor inside it that can transform from the raw status to the finishing status, which is the meaningful or the finished products. Okay, so we should know that data are raw facts that must go through, that must be subjected to processing, that must be
engage with the processor to transform. Okay, now I also talk about performing tasks according to a set instruction. And these instructions, they are referred to as programs. They are referred to as programs. All right. Now, in the world of computing, we have like church program, event program. But as far computer is concerned, whenever you hear program, it means what? Collection of instruction created by a programmer that the device will follow step by step towards achieving a purpose, because the computer is a goal-oriented object. It's a goal-oriented object. That is why you find out that what computer expert, particular programmer, they are goal-oriented human beings. They set out what they want to achieve. So I explain further by saying it takes input. So I want us to understand these terms. It takes input. So the question is that how is it going to be possible for the computer as a technology to be able to transform? In other words, there are 3 stages. The first stage is at the stage where it receives, which means that what? Giggle comes in here. Giggle. What is the full meaning of giggle? So it's one of the popular terms we use in referring to the process that is involved before you can obtain result from the system. So giggle means garbage in, garbage out. So which means that if I sit in front of this computer without doing anything, I shouldn't expect result, except programmed by programmer. Because you can actually program like websites. Websites are programmed to run even when the programmer is not there. But if not programmed, the computer is expected to receive data. And this data goes into the system in form of raw facts, which is known as what? Data. And then once the computer receives that data, then it hand it over to the processor to start working on it through an application like Microsoft Word. So there must be a medium in which you are passing that particular input, which is now known as data, to the computer system. And then once it receives it, then the processing takes place or starts. And then it's using a hardware and software. So we are going to look at various parts of computer in a moment, where you will now have an understanding what I meant by the word hardware and what the software. So, and produces the output, which is known as reliable information that can be stored or transmitted. I can forward whatever I have processed via email to you. Okay, so I believe that is clear. If you don't have, let me give room for one question if there is. If there's no question, then we'll quickly go to the key features of computer. So from there, we are going to really dig deeper to know what are some of the characteristics of this so-called leading technology. So if I have any question, quickly, there's no question, and then we move on. Any question? Question? There's no question. All right, so let me assume everything is going well. So let's quickly, let's proceed. Now, let's quickly look at the key features of the computer, the key features. So when we say feature, we are talking about the characteristics. So some of them I have already paraphrased on them. So now let's start with the input. So when we say input in the world of computing, there are literary meaning to these words. And that is what I'm trying to break down here. The literal meaning of what? Input means what? Receiving data and instructions. So when you use the word, I am imputing data, or I'm imputing into the system, it could be that you are sending in the raw fact, which are the data, or you are sending in what? Instruction. That is what it means. And each of these operations have design devices or peripherals. The word peripheral in this context means the assistance. So the computer as a company has hand, leg that assists it in achieving its goals. All these attached components like the mouse, the keyboard, the printer, all of them falls under peripheral, and they can be referred to as what? The input. Now, not all of them that falls under input. Let me break it down. Now, whenever we use the word input, we are talking about, in this context, we're talking about that device that help us to pass the data into the system. So any form of computer device or devices that helps a user to give information or instruction to the CPU or central processing unit is referred to as what? An input device. So example of it, we have the keyboard, we have the mouse, we have the scanner, we have light pen, we have joystick, and a whole lot of them out there. Okay, now we now have the outputs. We have the output. The output devices are computer peripherals that are primarily used to receive information from the system. So for example, I send my name Prosper so that I can increase the size, give a certain color in Microsoft Word. And then once that is completed, then I will now send it to a printer, and then the printer will vomit it on a hard copy, like on paper, or the medium in which I'm using to see what I am doing right now, which is the VDU, is also an output word, units of the system. So let's get it clear that any units within the computer that helps user to receive, to get feedback from the system, it falls under what? The output devices. Example, we have the printer, we have the speaker, we have the monitor, but we can professionally call it the VDU, which means the VDU represents visual display units, okay? So that itself has explained it. So which means that it is a unit within the computer system that visualize, that display the images of what the CPU is processing. Okay, so now with that understanding, let's quickly move to the next one. So still talking about the key features of the computer. So we have the storage. So every computer user is expected to understand that the computer has a unit that keep our what? Data, if authorized to store. As a matter of fact, the computer storage can even store more than what our memory can hold. Human memory cannot hold as much as what the computer system through the storage unit can hold. So as you work with the system, you should be aware that there are places, both internal and external, where you can store your data. So let's also talk about, just to give some few examples here, I mentioned hard drive. Hard drive is the internal memory of a system. It is also referred to as fixed storage. Why did we use the word fixed storage? Because if your system does not have the hard drive, which is also known as the local disk, that stores the operating system, that manages the entire computer, then the computer cannot boot. The computer cannot start. Let me use that word. So every computer must have the local drive in place. You can decide to say, I don't want to connect flash drive. After all, flash drive or SSD, though SSD is the new modern local disk, is the new modern what? Internal storage, which is far faster than the HDD, which is the local disk. Okay, so now we also have the temporary, you can see it here, the temporary storage, which is the RAM, which I have explained before. Remember, I said the RAM is a volatile storage. That is, it does not keep information once the computer system goes off. Okay, so now so just before I proceed, I just want us to get some of the acronym understood, just like the way I explained the full meaning of RAM. So the full meaning of the SSD is solid state drive. Solid state drive, which means that what it is more faster, is a new modern internal storage, which is almost 100% or times 3 faster than the HDD. Okay, so now that is just for us to understand that every computer system has either internal storage or external storage. So let me quickly talk about the external storage. So the external storage of the computer system are actually focused on the auxiliary storage. We refer to them as the backup, the supporting storages. In other words, these are storages that can be attached and detached from the system without affecting the computer operation or performance. For example, I can still use my computer system if I don't connect the flash drive or the external memory card to my system. All those ones, like external storage, all of them falls under what? The auxiliary or the backup. So every computer user is expected to have a backup, because your computer can crash anytime, so that you do not feel it as if you probably lose someone. But when you back your important information, then it gives you some confidence to work with the system. So because of time, I just want to go ahead. Now, automation, another important feature. Automation. Okay, so automation means what? It works automatically once programmed. So you can see the reason why the knowledge of programming is the backbone of everything that you know today about technology. Because the reason why people are graduating from the manual, because the manual is time consuming. It's not automated. So a lot of organizations like the banking sector today, you see them automating their system. Okay, even when the bank have closed, you can still perform transaction. That is the automation ability or the feature of the computer. So it can be programmed in a way that it can run even when you are not there. Another example is our websites. Websites are program pages with content that runs in as much the server is up. Then versatility. Versatility means that the computer can perform many types of tasks. at the same time. So you can see that what it saved cost. A lot of individual companies today are reducing their workforce because of the computer, because the computer is multitasking. It's multitasking. One computer can do the work of 10 people, if not more than. So why should I employ 10 different people to do the same thing? So in the world we are today, if you are not computer literate, I can tell you from experience, the next few years, even now, is already affecting some persons. Some people are being laid off because of lack of computer literacy. Okay, so it's very important that you start very young, and that is why I appreciate you, guys, the teenagers that are in this section, because just imagine before you get to my age, the level of computer skills and the confidence you must have, derived. Okay, so now that is the versatility of it. So as a matter of fact, just to conclude this particular section, I said what? A computer is a data processing machine that converts raw data into useful information. In summary, so I believe that is clear to us. So with that understanding, now we quickly look at some of the parts that makes up the computer. So here we want to look at what actually are formulated the entire computer system. All right, so I have diagrammatically represented, and I'm going to just be explaining to us. So the entire objects we know today as the computer system can be broken into 3 arms. After this class, you can prove me wrong if you can trace any aspect of computing that is not traced to what these 3 arms or branches. So we have the computer hardware. The hardware are the physical part of the computer you can see and touch. For example, your keyboard, your mouse, the VDU, the CPU, which is the central processing unit. Just a second. They are all part of the computer hardware. Okay. Now, what we are saying is that there cannot be software without the hardware. I'm trying to explain them according to the order of priority. So if you want to set up a system, you do not start by buying software. You start from the hardware, because the hardware is the beginning part of it. And that is the part Charles Babbage invented. Biggett is now the one that invented what? Anything that has to do with what? The software. So let me just stay on the hardware for some time. Like I said, the hardware are the physical parts you can see and touch. Example I gave there are all the input devices falls under hardware. All the output devices falls under hardware. Okay? Now, if you look at my diagram here, the hardware now has 2 arms. Look at my diagram. Under the hardware, we have the basic hardware, and then we have the optional hardware. So let me break it down. When we say basic, we are talking about what? The compulsory parts that you must connect or that must come together before you can achieve something tangible with the system. Just imagine there is no mouse. Yes, to an extent, you'll be able to use the system, but your speed will be limited. Just imagine you do not have the keyboard also. If you are using laptop, all these parts are already together. Just imagine you do not have keyboard. Yes, you can still perform 1 or 2 operations, but your speed will be limited because all these are peripherals, the hand and the leg, that are there to support the entire body of the system. So they have their own dedicated primary role to play. So under the basic hardware, that is where we have the keyboard. Under the basic hardware, that is where we have the keyboard. Under the same basic hardware, we have the mouse. Under the same basic hardware, we have the printer. Sorry, printer is not here. Printer should be under what? Optional hardware. So here we have the printer. Okay, because I can actually do without the printer, except I want to convert my soft copy to what? Hard copy. So here we have light pen, we have scanner. Okay, so sorry, scanner comes in here. Here you have scanner because I can, any part of this peripheral that you can do away with for the meantime, it does not fall under what? The basic. So here we have the keyboard, we have the mouse, we have the CPU, which is also the central processing unit. And then we have the VDU, which is the monitor. Okay, now let's quickly talk about the software. The software are basically what? Instructions. How do we define instruction? Instruction in computing simply mean command. So when we say a program like Microsoft Word, it's actually the collection of instructions designed specifically for a particular task. For example, for word processing. So computer software can be grouped into two categories. If a software is not under what? Application, then the software is under what? System software. So let me break it down. Under application software, these are softwares that are programmed to achieve or for a specific task. A specific task. For example, OPay app, just for banking. Anything outside banking is not applicable. Microsoft Office Word is specifically for word processing. Anything outside word processing, count it out. Microsoft Excel for computation of values or numbers and for performing calculation or data analytics. Anything outside that, count Excel out. Microsoft PowerPoint, it is also an application designed for creating and managing presentations, just like is PowerPoint I use in developing this whole presentation I am dishing out. So it makes my teaching work easier. Okay. CorelDRAW is also an application for graphic design. Photoshop for raster graphic design. That is what? Image or infotech what? Infographics what? Design. So you can see Facebook is an application. WhatsApp is an application. So we can go, there are millions of applications out there. So you have to learn according to the area you want to actually what? Major on. So you are not supposed to learn all the applications. So if you are a doctor, you are supposed to look at what are the applications that will help my ministry. If you are a pastor, you have to also look for an application that will help you to, that will help you in your own ministry. If you're an engineer, you need an application like AutoCAD. So everybody knowing the area they are in, they need to know there is an application software at least for every discipline. There is no aspect that's no sector where there is no existing computer app in order to help those practicing in that particular domain. So computer is very, very versatile. It's part of what we have explained before now. So that is for application software. In other words, these are softwares that are designed to carry out a specific task. Now, let's quickly talk about the system software. The system software. So I can change it from system software to computer software. So which means that these are generalized software, or these are software that are primarily designed just for the computer to ensure that it runs smoothly. So these are computer software. These are not softwares that you create or that you install in your computer in order to achieve something tangible. For example, now, like Microsoft Word, you can install it and then type a CV or letter, print it out and show someone that, this is a letter that I processed with Microsoft Word. But as far the operating, the system software is the operating system, is the principal software that must be installed in every computer before the application like Microsoft Word can be installed. So there is no computer that can run an application without installing an operating system. An operating system, which is what? The manual that teaches you or that determines how the computer operates. So it is from here we have Microsoft Windows 7. This is where we have MS Windows 7. We have Windows. This is where we have Windows 8. This is where we have Windows 10. This is where we have Windows 11. All these are the different operating systems that a computer system can run depending on the configuration. All right? I hope we are still following. Please let me get a response. So if I have someone who is following, just kindly unmute and say, sir, we are enjoying the class. Continue.
Sir, we are enjoying the class.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, all right. So let's quickly talk about the third arm, which is the computer peopleware or computer what? Hardware. So the computer peopleware is an aspect of computing that deals with human usage of the computer. So it may mean that we as human beings, we are also important in technology. In fact, having put the hardware in place, installed the software, human being with the skills is needed to what? To be able to use those instructions, which are the software, to control the computer before something tangible can actually what? Be achieved with the computer. So now there are different careers that can be developed from computer as a technology. So part of this is you can become computer operator. You can become computer operator. So the operator, almost every user must have gone through what? The operational aspect of computer, which simply means that these are individuals that uses the computer on a daily basis to carry out their activities. For example, now in the bank, they use computer every day. So once you fall in that category, you are a computer what? Operator. Then we have computer programmers. These are instructions writers. These are people who write code, who write tasks for the computer to what? To perform using different programming languages like Python, Java, C++, and a whole lot of them out there. Okay? I hope we are following. Are we
Yes,
following?
sir.
All right. Now we have computer instructors. Instructor, these are people who train, who teaches the computer skill, just like I'm doing. So we are very important in this world of technology. So we are the one that actually replicating the knowledge. If not, our forefather that learned these skills some years ago, as they died, the skill will have what? Diminished. But today, because of instructors, we are able to replicate the knowledge. So we pass it on to the next generation. And then they will also take it and pass it on to what? To the next generation. So the role of instructors is very important. Then we also have administrators. These are people who administer the whole of this individual in an organization. Somebody who supervises the role of an instructor in a company, supervises the role of who bring all these experts together and be able to what? To make them to do the right thing. So that is all about what? Part of computer. So now the aspect of the computer appreciation has been settled. Now we want to quickly look at what we also promised we want to teach you, which is what? Microsoft Windows. So let's quickly go to that aspect. So what we should be expecting from this aspect is also very, very key. So what I've been teaching us since first under computer appreciation, trying to generate what? The computer for you to, to find reasons to learn it. So what I'm doing since I'm just appreciating the computer so that you can develop interest. I have told us computer can do this, can do that. Now we are going into the operation. Now that you know what computer is, where do you start from? Practical wise. Where do you start from? The very first interface you have to start with is called the Microsoft Windows. So the Microsoft is an operating system developed by Microsoft Corporation, owned by Bill Gates. So these are like series of operating systems that manages the entire computer resources, including the applications we talked about, including the hardwares, and every other operation that takes place within the computer is being managed or are being managed by the operating system. In fact, using the word operating system, it means that this is the software that determines how the computer operates. So why should you start learning Microsoft Word when you don't even understand the driver of the entire system? It's just like you entering a car without learning how to drive. So it's very dangerous. And this is the reason why Digital Z Hub came up with this free training section. This is the reason why we are embarked on this campaign, because from experience, I told us that I've spent 19 to 20 years tutoring and practicing. I'm an IT practitioner. So I have come across people that register into my data analytics class or my cybersecurity class, and then you find out that they don't even know how to create folder. Someone who wants to learn data analytics does not know how to create folder. And then somehow they claim they can cope. But the implication is that their learning speed will be very slow, and they will find it difficult to compete with fellow professionals out there. So I really appreciate those of you that make it here, because it's actually an opportunity. So let's quickly look at the Microsoft Windows. I said Microsoft Windows is an operating system abbreviated to OS, developed by Microsoft Corporation. It is a software that manages a computer hardware, software resources, provide a user interface, and allow users to run applications. So I'm going to switch from here for the meantime and show us the environment we are talking about. Just a minute, I'm coming. Let me just... minutes. All right. So now this is the Microsoft Windows interface we are talking about. So as soon as your system finish the preparation, which is called booting, once you press the power button on your system, the computer will undergo a process, and that process is called booting. If you are starting that process for the first time, then that process will be known as what? Cold booting. And then if you are going through that process second time, it becomes what? Warm booting. Now, what we are saying is that the moment your computer finishes booting, definitely is going to prompt you this environment. So the whole of this environment is called the user interface, which is the Microsoft window. So what are the advantages, or what are the design functions? Why does the computer provide this particular interface for us? Because we are the user of the computer. So we need an intermediate interface between the computer and between the back end and us. So the window is just like a messenger. It's like an interface that helps us to communicate effectively with the entire system. And so it takes our message through the application we could be working on and take it to the processor, and then the processor will respond to it. And then through that same application we are on, let's say Microsoft Word, then it replies us. So that is why I told us before that what? You can never have a working system. You can never have a working phone, because phones are part of what? Computer, without what? Installing the operating system. So there must be either Windows 10 installed, Windows 7 installed, Windows 8 installed. If you are using Mac or Apple system, there must be Mac what? Operating system in that computer. So let's quickly proceed. So I'll be bringing us back to this once in a while. So let me quickly go back to that slide. We go back to that slide, seated here. I've also covered this, and then this is where we are. So you can see that what the explanation I just gave to us now tallies with what I just showed us as the function, where I said it manages a computer's what? Hardware and software resources. Okay, so now let's quickly look at some of the Microsoft Windows key points. So the reason why I want to teach us this key point is for us to know, oh, what is doing what. Some of us, we are browsing with our systems. We are setting up network. Some of the network administrator will set up a server cafe, set up networks, offices, without knowing what exactly is making that possible. So the first key point we must understand that what the Microsoft window is the operating system, which means that what the window controls how the computer works, from file management to what? Running programs. And then the window also provide what? Graphical what? Environment. So please just give me a few Minutes, I'm coming. All right. So let's quickly talk about the graphical user interface. The graphical user interface is what I just showed us now, which is this. So this is the practical what? User interface. So why do we say it's graphical? Because you can see that what is pictorial, is designed. All right. So now another key point is the versions. So we have different Windows version, such as Windows 95, the SP, like I explained before now. All right, now let's proceed. Sorry about that. So I was talking about the what? The version. So we should know, I remember I've already spoken about some of these versions. The multitasking. The Windows allows running multiple applications at the same time. Just like I'm running PowerPoint and I'm also running Zoom at the same time. The networking the Windows provide tools for internet access, file sharing, and security. So without the window, there cannot be what? Internet. There cannot be what? Sharing of files. They're widely used. It is one of the most popular operating systems in the world, used in personal computers, laptops, servers, and some mobile devices, like older Windows. So in summary, before we go to the next topic, Microsoft Windows is a family of operating systems that lets users interact with their computer easily, like I've mentioned before. So the reason why we are given the whole of this environment is for interactivity, so that as a user of this system, I should be able to interact effectively with the system. So this is not the main system. There is a background that you and I we are not seeing. So this is just an interface that passes our messages to that particular background. All right, so now let's quickly look at the Windows client operating system. We're looking at different here now we are looking at the types. Remember, I talked about what? Types of Windows. So we have the first category types of window based on their design role. So we have Windows client operating system for personal computer. So the window you have there falls under what? Client operating system. And under this, we have Windows 95, Windows 98. These are old Windows. So I started learning computer with Windows 98. But today you guys are learning with Windows 11. Okay, so this particular one introduced GUI, which means what? Graphical User Interface. Those days, when we started, it was DOS, Disk Operating System, a command line environment. Not like this interface now that when you need a command, now you just click here and then it will bring out this. Then you have to write a command, you have to write code before you can get this interface that just came up. It's just like command prompt. Let me show you how it look like. So if I type CMD, this is how it was those days. Before you could do anything, you have to be writing code like this. You want to create a file, you want to create a folder, you will write what? CD, followed by the name of what? The folder. You want to read out content, you will write, you enter that directory, and then you call the file name. But today, very simple. All you need to do is just what? You are using graphical interface. Just right click here and then you select what? New. You create folder easily. You do not write any code. So that is just to tell you that what? The advancement have really come far. So we have still on this category, we have Windows XP 2001. These are old version, very stable, widely used before it got out of the market. So I started learning computer with what? Windows XP. Then it was in my own era, we moved from Windows XP to Windows Vista. And people started complaining that Windows Vista is too slow. Then Windows 7 came out. And then people are now saying that Windows 7 is not compatible with some technology then. Then that now led to what? The invention of what? Windows 8 and Windows 8.1. And you can see the way I'm giving you the history, the years. And then finally to Windows 10, 2015, that is where Windows 10 came. And then finally Windows 11. Windows 11 came out 2021. So you can see that is one of the newest what? Operating system. All right. I believe we are still following. Now, let's look at the second category, Windows Server Operating System. So this is where we have, these ones are for server, not for personal computer. Servers are powerful, dedicated computer that serves other computer. So these are built for managing network, database, web hosting, and enterprise application. Example, Windows Server across these years. Then we have Windows Mobile, embedded. These are the ones when you purchase Android phone. The Android you are hearing is the name of the word, the window in it. They come with it. That's why they call them embedded. You don't have to install them separately. So let's quickly, so that is all about the first part we promise you, which is the general introduction to computer. And the second part we also promise you, which is the Windows management. So we'll go for 5-minute break. And then when we return, make sure that you do not sign out. You can use this to invite your friends to join, because when I come back, I am going to dive into Microsoft Word. So we're going to learn how to type, how to process words with basic command, and then we can now bring the meeting to an end. So we can go for the break now. Can get water, just refresh yourself. All right, welcome back, guys. So just before we dive into the word processing aspects, so I would like to hear from us. So far, so good. How will you rate the class? Just unmute yourself and say something regarding to what you have learned so far. How are you enjoying the class? Quickly.
It's good.
All right. And I hope to see you guys in the coding class next week. Hope you are going to be there coding with Python.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and I hope
Yeah.
you guys have, okay. Mr. Vitri, welcome, welcome. Welcome on board, though you have missed a lot, but nevertheless, you can still catch up. All right, now, please, like I advise us, keep inviting your friends. We want to dive into the word processing, which is also a fundamental skill you should have as a computer user. So let's dive in. So let's start with what is Microsoft Word? What is Microsoft Word? So Microsoft Word is a word processing application software developed by Microsoft Corporation. It is part of the Microsoft Office suite. So when we say suite, we are talking about the collection, because it is not only one software you have in Microsoft Office suite. In Microsoft Office suite, you have Microsoft Word, which is designed for word transformation, that is word processing. They will also have Microsoft Excel, which is mainly for computation of values and performing calculation. We have PowerPoint, like I've mentioned before, in one of those sections. Okay, but now it is known as Microsoft 365. So don't be shocked you see people selling Microsoft 365. Okay, so a majority of us have not actually migrated to the cloud, because this 365 is the cloud-based Microsoft Office. But majority of the user in some parts of the world are still using the local installation version, which is the one I am still going to use. But though there are different features and benefits which you can research on your own, but definitely they are all for processing Word. And it's widely used for creating, editing, formatting, and printing text-based documents. Okay, so when I was explaining types of computer applications, you could remember I said application software are softwares that are designed for a particular purpose. They are not under the generalized software. So Microsoft Word, which happened to be the one we are focusing on tonight, is programmed for word transformation, and is a skill that you must have if you plan or aim to work in an office, because, like I define it, is an office application. It is an application every office operator should engage with when it comes to writing of letter, CV, and other official document. So you cannot claim you understand the computer without starting from Word, because learning Microsoft Word alone is as if you are learning bunch of other word, text, or word processors. Because somebody who understands Microsoft Word will not be totally strange on Excel. Somebody who understands Microsoft Word will not also be totally strange on PowerPoint. So you can see that what the foundation of application handling or management connects or rely on Microsoft Word is very key. It's very key, because even the entire internet management, if you do not start from learning or understanding Microsoft Word, you're going to have issue. For example, you could be surfing the internet. You open a search engine like, let's say, like Google, and you search for an information, and you want to copy. Where did you learn the term copy? That is what you should have understood from Microsoft Word. So you can see that on any environment you will work with today, as far technology is concerned, the background of Microsoft Word is being replicated. Very key. So let's quickly talk about some key features of Microsoft Word. And I would like us to understand some terms. The Word document creation, this is one of the key features of Microsoft Word. You cannot take the aspect of document creation from Microsoft Word. For you to claim that you know Microsoft Word, it means that you can create words. Words in this case, let me break it down, because starting with document might confuse you. In data processing, there are 3 keywords you need to understand, and you come across data processor using them. The term character, before you get to document that you are seeing on the screen. Let's understand how we got here. The what we call character. Character means the individual letters. The individual letters that comes together to form a text. For example, the D is a character. If I type 1 is a character, 2 is a character. Now, when they are standing on their own, we refer to them as what? Character. So now the combination of 2 or more characters form words. So for example, now document is a word that is formed by 2 or more word characters. Now, when you now say document, it means the collection of 2 or more words that form a sentence or an entire word paragraph. Okay, so now the whole of what I have on my screen cannot be described as character, neither word text. Instead, a document. This is a document. How do I know? Document is a text plus creation is another text plus allow. Then when you put them together, that is what forms document. So when we said Microsoft Word is an example of word process, in fact, the most used word processor. We have WordStar and the rest of them. We have Notepad, the inbuilt word processor within your window, where you do not have Microsoft Word. So it comes with editing tools. So there are tools like we are going to learn shortly that when you type, the word editing means what? To make changes. When you type, you can transform, you can change. So it comes with those set of tools that can help us to what? To make changes after imputing our data. Then it comes with templates. For example, as we're going to see once I'm done with this explanation, template means Microsoft Word has already developed some structures for writing letter, writing CV that you can just exploit and change those content, those presumed content to yours, and then end up having it as your document. For those of us that do not know the format for writing letter, for writing some other official document, you can actually exploit the template section. The collaboration, tracks, changes, like I said, add comment, and what? Co-auditor what? A document online. So there are some of them that you cannot implement if you are using the offline version. The offline version is the one you install in your system, your local drive, like we mentioned in our general computing section. Then we have the online, the cloud-based, the one you install, the one you are running from this cloud. Then you have that one, you have to create Microsoft account. And then from there, you will now be able to what? Only when you are on the internet that you can use any of the Office application. The multimedia support, so it can allow you to integrate video. For example, now I can add a video to PowerPoint. I can add a video to Microsoft Word because there is an interface that there is a link, there is a feature that allows you to add audio and video. Okay, so in a moment, we are going to go to that environment so that I will show us some of this. I just want us to have proper understanding about it. Now, file compatibility. It can save multiple formats. So these are some of the formats you can save in Word. I've come across some persons that sometimes they have issue converting normal text to PDF. Because if you are working in an office, most time and you want to, for security reason, you would like your file to be encrypted, to be protected. And then you switch it from Microsoft text format to what? PDF. PDF means what? It will become like an image that you can only read it, but you cannot tamper with it. So that when it's passing through your email, the hacker or whatever internet threat will not be able to hijack it and be able to make some modification. So you can print and share. That is what Microsoft Word allow you to send the document to a printer and then also allow you to share it within or outside. So there are a whole lot of features. Now, just before I come back to go to the practical, this is going to be our next Saturday training. Make sure that you do not miss this, though it's actually customized for teenagers, but adults can attend, but the adults that will attend will pay a token of 3,000 naira. It is only free for the teenagers. Okay, so if you join that class next week, Saturday, I am going to ask you if you're an adult that want to learn Python to pay 3,000 naira. In fact, that is bottle of water money compared to what you are going to learn. So let's quickly go back to the business. Now let's go and do some practical. Okay, so just in case you want to reach out to us, I think you have been seeing this link is our website. You can reach out. Most of these videos will be uploaded via the website, so you can go there and watch more videos and then get more updates about the GTZ Hub. All right, now let's quickly dive into some of the practical aspects. So what I want to teach us tonight within the next few minutes, we are going to start by looking at Microsoft Word basic processing terms. I have explained some of them. And then we are going to also look at Microsoft Word basic processing command. So, but then let's start with how do I launch it on my system? How do I install it? So if it has not been installed, you consult a vendor to an engineer to install it for you, or you can download it from Microsoft. I think Microsoft store. You can download it from there, and then they might ask you to activate it. So if you have what it is, fine, or you better install it offline and use it to practice. So the very first thing we want to learn is how do we open it? In this case, I have installed mine. How do we open it? That is the first thing you should learn. Now, there are different ways you can actually open application. There are different ways you can open application within your system. Now, it's either you open the app through an icon within the GUI, the graphical user interface, that is where you must have created an icon to represent it as shortcut. So you can go through that. Another standard way you can open Microsoft Word is by going through the channel, the buffer, or the start button. So once you click here, you will see different application, especially the most used application will be highlighted here. Now you can see I have Microsoft Word here. So peradventure in your own the audio is conflicting. Please so peradventure in your own case you couldn't find it, then just search, just type W here. Once you type W, the entire program I archive in the system in ascending order. So from that W, you can see that you can see all the programs that start with letter W. So from here, you can find Microsoft Word. So once you can find it, you click and then you give it some time and then you watch it opening. Now, this is how it will open. Now, remember when we were talking about the features, we talked about templates. These are the templates. So this is Microsoft Word assumption that there are some individual, particularly learners, that cannot develop this structure. They don't have the typesetting skills. to be able to what to type and arrange this document the way it is. So Microsoft have already programmed different templates that you can exploit. So I'm going to just exploit one, and then you can take your time because I'm going to come back to blank document. So blank document is you asking for an empty workspace where you want to start writing from scratch. So let's just go through one of them. So let's assume that I want to type a resume, which is CV, and I don't know how to develop the structure. I can tell you, you can enter some so-called commercial business centers where they type CV for customers. So before your arrival, they must have, those experts there must have consulted this template and must have changed all the details to, to someone's detail. And then when you come, they will just be substituting. So let's create it. Once I click on create, it's going to open with those templates. So as you can see here, I have all the words, the information written. This is a typical format for writing CV. So if you want to write your curriculum vitae and you don't know where to start for, you don't even know the information that are required, then you can just exploit this format, then save it as. We talk about one of the features of Microsoft Word, ability to save. So now you go to, look at where I click on to save, click on file, and then go to save as. So from save as, you choose where exactly within your system. Is it an inbuilt storage or external storage? If you want to save in your flash drive, you connect your flash drive to the system USB. Well, let's quickly save in our input on desktop or document. And now I'll choose where I want to save. If I have activated OneDrive, which is a Microsoft cloud storage, I can do it. It's going to ask you to enter your email before it can save directly to the cloud, which means that if you open, if you have access to another computer, you can what? Have access to your file, not necessarily be only when you are on your local device. So now I come to desktop. So I will now specify my name, the file name. Every file you are saving in a domain in the storage must have an identifier, which is called file name, a name that distinguishes from other files within that same storage. So let's say you are supposed to look at the name that exists. So you can just go through the names that are already here and know if the name you intend to use has been used. If it has not, then let's say I want to save it Prosper because I've checked that there's no Prosper there. Now, while you are saving, you can decide to password it if you don't want someone else to see it. So if you want to password it, you don't just click on save. You hold on with the save and go to what tools and then select what general option. And then you enter the same password code in these two boxes. So from here, I can say, okay, I'm using 123 as my password. Repeat the same thing, 123, and then click OK. Repeat it, 123. The same thing, repeat it, 123. Repeat it. And that is all. Once it accepts it, then finally you can click on what? OK. Now remember that we saved that file on desktop. Desktop means that what? The icon of that file should be here. This is the desktop interface. So now remember the name I used, Prosper. So let me check. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so the security strength of saving file on desktop is very weak. Professionally, you shouldn't save sensitive and confidential information on desktop because as soon as the computer finishes booting, except where this desktop has different user accounts. So now if I want to confirm if that security, that password that I added is active. So if someone have access to my system and he or she want to exploit what I save here, once he or she click, now remember that we have opened it before, so I have to close it. So let me open it again and see if it's going to ask for password. So you can see it. So now this is where the person will be stuck if he or she does not have the password. So I type the password. It's not going to allow you to go in once because it has to confirm it twice. And then you click. So finally, I'm here. Okay, so the next thing I want to quickly show us is now you know how to save. Now, The next thing is that how do I even modify this template to my own? Let's assume that I want to change the whole of this to my own content. What do? This is what we call placeholder. This is a text placeholder, which means that it allows you to edit it. It's in editing mode. So just highlight it. To highlight means is a term used when you are processing words with any of these word processing application. To highlight, what it means in computing, it means that you are specifically telling the computer that this is the area. You are defining the boundary. So whatever command I tend to give to this should affect only this area that is selected. That's what we are saying. So if I click on this icon, it means that what everything within that placeholder that I want to speak to. So how do I highlight? You can just hold down the mouse and drag it like this. Okay? Or once you click here, first name, the reason why there are two different text holder. This one is bolder than this. This one is your first name. So once you click on it and type, let's see what, Egwero. So you can see that what is changing. Then I want to change here to my last name. I also click here and say what, Egwero Prosper. So you can see that what I now modifying. Okay. Now, supposing after you have imputed this, you discover that this one is too big. How do you reduce it? So now we are learning some transformative command in Word. So you now come to where you have it as what? 33, 35. So click on the drop down there. You see other sizes. So as you go through them, you see what? Different size. So what I've done now, I have been able to transform the size of my entry from 35 to what? 18. Then if I also want to change the alignment. Now, when you are typing within the page from here to this place, there can be three alignments. That is what? There are three positioning horizontally you can define. Right now is positioned at the center. That is why this icon is showing you what? Center. So if I click here now, it takes you to what? To the left hand side. If I click here now, it is what? To the right hand side. Then if I click here to the center. Okay, so as an expert, you can actually use shortcut to govern all this. And what's the shortcut? Control. There is a button on your keyboard called control. Once you press it down and press letter E, that is for what? Center alignment. Then hold down that same control button and press down L for language. It will take you to the what? To the left hand side. Then hold down that same control and press R for right. And then it will take you to what? And then E to the center. Now, there is something you notice. When we wanted to float the text to the left, we use L because L start left. The same thing R for right. But when it comes to the center, we are now using, we did not say Control C because Control C is already allocated for copy. Okay, if I want to duplicate. So no single command is repeated or duplicated. So if one function have used a shortcut, then it will what? Use another letter. So another thing I want to show us is how do I change the color of this entire write-up? So you are under Home tab. Remember that this is a kind of a demo training. But when you register for our master class, you come across this video and you are saying, sir, I want you to mold me properly on Microsoft Word to train me on the full package where I will go through all the step by step, explain all the command and the scenario or the case or the use cases. Then you can simply call, you can WhatsApp me directly on +2 3 4 7 0 6 9 5 6 9 6 5 9 1 9. So let me quickly type it here. 2 3 4 0 7 0 sorry 7 0 6 9 6 5 9 1 9. So you can chat me up with that contact. Okay, even if you want me to add you to my WhatsApp community group where I have like-minded individuals
there are updates on a daily basis on how I come up with free training like this. Also chat me up, specify that you come across the video on the internet and you want me to add you to that group. I'll be glad to add you there. So, okay, so let's quickly continue. Okay, so before that, in case you also want to reach us via website, just type www.dg, all in lowercase, please, all in lowercase, www.dgtechz.com, then .ng. Okay, so this will take you to our website. And then remember I said everything should be lowercase. Now, the next thing I wanted to show us is how do we transform the color? Because by default, your entry will appear in black color. So how do you change it? You go to home and then you come to this icon here. So here you can change to what any other color you want. Okay, now I want to change the whole of this text to only the first letter will be capital letter. The rest should be small letter. That is called capitalized cases. How do we achieve that? You come to where you have this icon, then click on what? Capitalized case. So now you can see that what I have changed, I have transformed the whole text from being uppercase to what? Only the first letter uppercase, while the rest. If I want everything to be lowercase, then the same thing, go back to that same place, then select what? Lowercase. So these are some word processing basic command you should know. Now, but I'm leaving here to take also in case you exploit this and you want to modify it. So you just go to any session, select it, then impute your right information and all of that. So I want to go back to the beginning so that will show us how you can actually open a blank workspace instead of accessing or going through the template. So let me close it, and that's I will show us another way of accessing Microsoft Word if you don't want to go through the start button. That is, I can also use the graphical user interface with the help of an icon. So all these pictures you are seeing, they are referred to as what? Icon. Icons are defined to be graphical representation of either programs stored in the system or file created with the programs or the system setting or folders. So like all this yellow stuff here, they are called what? Folder icon. Folder are storages. Okay, so you created them just to separate your file within your system, which is the right key to have under information management system. So now I can create an icon here just like this. So let me delete this so that you know how I came about this. So let's assume that as a regular user of Microsoft Word, I don't want to be going through stats, searching it out. So I just want to deposit an icon here just to be launching it. So just right click and then go to new, and then you see the name of Microsoft Word. So henceforth, I have an icon here representing it. So whenever I want to launch it, all I need is to right click on that icon, select open, or I simply double click and that will take me. But there is an implication. When you are launching it through the icon, then it's a shortcut. Shortcut will always cost you something in life where you follow shortcuts. So what it has cost us is that we do not have access to those templates. So if I'm the type that I want to take advantage of that format, then, and I'm going through shortcut, I will not have access to it. Because if I close the one I open with the shortcut, and I go through this, and I type this, just watch how it's going to open. You see that the opening is different. This one gives me an opportunity to exploit what? Templates. So there are different templates. So when you go to Business Center and they charge you heavily, as if they are going to create it from scratch. But as they say, knowledge is power. When you don't have it, you pay for it. Okay? Right. Now, so I just want us to know that when you are going through shortcuts, then there are certain things that you will be deprived from. Do we have question? Any question before I proceed? Question, please. We have a few minutes to go. So if you are following, please kindly indicate. Just unmute yourself and tell the whole world that you recommend this platform for them to learn. If I have anyone that is following, just quickly unmute yourself. Tell the whole world that actually you are learning from Digital Z, that you like to recommend this platform for them. Anybody? Anybody? There's none, I proceed. Okay.
Digital Z is the best. I recommend it to anyone that wants to start and to know anything from scratch. They go in details, whatever you want. They're always the best.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. All right. Okay, so let's proceed. Thank you for that recommendation. All right. So now that we have been able to open the program using the two methods, is that you go through the start button or you go through creating a shortcut. Now, I want to quickly spend a few minutes to show us one or two things. How you are expected to start learning Microsoft Word. You are expected to start by understanding the environment, the interface. That is the standard rule. Anytime you are exposed to an app for the first time, do not start focusing on knowing the function until you understand the structure of that app so that you don't find it difficult to look for what. The reason why some persons, when they go for an interview and they ask them, for example, I type, welcome to DG Tech Zeal Hub. Okay? And they are asked, how do you increase the size of this write-up? How do you increase the size? You will see somebody that was not trained properly like this. Probably he was just looking at a friend and they started using it. What they will do, they can spend time looking for where the function that will increase the size is. You are not supposed to waste that time. What they are asking to do is a basic function, increase the size. So you should know that you have to highlight it and go to home, and then from home you come here. Okay? So now, why was it easy for me to quickly go? Because I have taken my time to understand the program structure. I know where things are kept, and that is why I want to quickly spend the last few minutes I have to quickly run through the interface, just understand the structure. I believe in subsequent opportunity like this, or when you subscribe for our master class, we will teach you properly. Now, the whole of this Microsoft Word interface or window is broken into parts. So as a beginner, you start by understanding the parts. The very first part I want to quickly explain is this. The whole of this part, where you have certain key information display, where you have the name. Now, here, once you save, the reason why you are still seeing new Word document because you have not saved. So this one came as default. So if I go to File and I select what? Save As. So indirectly, I'm also showing us how you can save. Why am I going through Saver? Because this is the first time I'm saving. Where do I want to save on desktop? What name do I want to use to locate it next time? I'll put it, okay, let's say what? Class. And then click Save. Now, the moment I do that, you can see that what this place has what updated. So which means that what the title bar, the whole of this place is called the application title bar. It shows us the name of the app you are running to be Word, and it also displays the name of the document you are working on, and also the control buttons. These buttons are used to govern the entire interface. For example, if I don't want to see File, Home, Insert, Design, Layout, References, Mailing, which are tabs, okay, I can just come here and say what? Hide them. I can no longer what? See them. So your hand can mistakenly touch it, and then you take your laptop to engineer. They will collect money from you, and then just come back here and what? Bring it up like this. Probably they will have told you, go home and come back. Okay? So what you don't know is powerful. So that is why it is important that you understand what each of these things does. Now, there's something I want to show us. Now, when I click here, if I hide everything and I bring back using this link, I will have the tab, but I'm no longer seeing the functions until I pull it out, until I click before I can see the functions under what? The tabs. But I want it to be fixed whenever I am here, even when I step out. I don't want it to what? To collapse back. That means that we should have used what? This that says what? Show tabs and what? Command. All right. So from here, now you know the function of this. Now here it's called minimize. To minimize means what? To take off the application temporarily. That is, the application will be retained on your taskbar. So the whole of this part is called what? The taskbar. So from here, you can actually what? Navigate to the icon of the program, and then once you tap on it, it brings it back. That is when you are not through. You just want to switch off from the MS Word interface to do one or two things before you come back. You don't have to close it here. You just minimize. This one is serving two roles. The first one is to restore, and the second one is to close. So if I click here now, what happens? It practically allows me to view multiple what? Interface. Right now, I am viewing part of Microsoft window. I am also viewing part of what? Microsoft Word. So if I love listening to music while working with my system, I can open the media interface and minimize it, and then open my app while I am typing. I'm enjoying myself. Now, when you click on that same place after the first selection, it will increase it, which is called the maximize. The practical effect is that it allows one app to cover the entire screen. Now, of course, this one is to close. This one is very dangerous. You tap it when you have not saved. Ensure that you save before you close, because I talk about RAM and ROM, random access memory, read-only memory. One is volatile, the other one is what? Non-volatile. Okay, so once you start typing, where are these information kept? For example, now if I add here now, we are learning. If I type we are learning, sorry, we are learning. If I close this app now, by the time I open it next time, I'm not going to see the whole of it, because as at the time I type this, I did not recommit it. And that is why you have to go to what? File again. Each time you update your record, you click on what? Save. Now, you don't have to go through savers except you want to upgrade or update the name. But for subsequent saving, you click on what? Save. Okay. Now, that is for this. Now, the next part is the tab. Let me quickly explain this. And this is the last one because of time. I will not be able to go further than this. But like I said, feel free to subscribe for our master class. I have given my detail before. You want to, let me prompt a slide that contain all our details and the list of some program we offer on this platform. So as you can see, I train on cybersecurity, ethical hacking, coding, web coding, machine learning, data analytics, graphic design. You can reach us via this same website, but we have to add a dot, sorry, there had to be .ng here. And then you can also WhatsApp me. This number is also my direct number. WhatsApp me if you need a master class. Okay. And even though you don't have time to obtain the training, and you're saying that, sir, I want you to you want to buy the entire course. So there is a course where I have recorded the whole things you need to learn concerning Microsoft Word. I will just send you the link, then you follow them, and then you should be able to what? To know everything you need to learn in MS Word from basic to pro. Okay, so now I just want to just round up quickly, because I really need to end the session. I know some of us we have been overstretched. Okay, so now for you to save, I say you have to click here. Now I want to explain this section. This section is called the status, the standard bar. Okay, so this allows you to customize those often used function. Any function you know that you use often. Okay, so all you need is to program it here. So if I click here now, you can see the way I'm turning all this one off, because it's possible that I've considered them to be command that do not use often. So any function you know you use often, you can bring it up. Now this very one here, there's no place to remove it because we added it from custom. So you go to what? More command, and then you find it here, and then you take it off from here. And then now let me see. Just click on remove, and then you click OK. Let me take this up. Click OK. So now let me quickly round off with how do I bring them back? You click here, and then let's say I use open. There's no way I'm going to type. I'm not going to open my previous work. Perhaps I did not complete it. Click here. It add the icon here. So anyone you select, the icon will be added. Okay, so those ones that you can never do without, they are the ones you have to ensure that you create their shortcut. So peradventure, there is an icon, there is a command that you want to put it icon here, but it's not among this. You go to more command, and then you see a bunch of them. Then from here, you say, okay, for example, these are the ones you have been able to add. So you can click here, and then you can select here, and then you can. So ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of this session. Just as we promised you, we have been able to cover. But the only aspect that I could not touch is how we can blend the whole of this with research, which is using the internet. But like I said, keep following us. Follow us on YouTube at Digitazil. Let me see if I can quickly prompt. Just follow us on YouTube. Let me type it here. Just search for, and make sure you subscribe so that once I upload both this type of video and the master classes, you'll be able to get the updates. So just search for at Digi, all in lowercase, Digitech, then together with Zeal, together Digitech Zeal Hub. So once you search for this on YouTube, you'll be able to reach us. Then search for this on TikTok. We are also on TikTok, and we give a lot of updates almost every day. TikTok, it should be at you just put dot in between this on TikTok. Then on Facebook, just search for Digital Z Academy. So just search for this, particularly the YouTube, the YouTube. Make sure that you follow me there, because in a week I upload not less than, let's say, 10 different videos, and they are powerful. So just make sure that you go there, subscribe, so that you can get updates. And perhaps you also want us to add you to our WhatsApp group. Like I said, just WhatsApp me on this number. Okay, so I'll be able to add you. So this is where we stop. You have any question? Quickly bring in your question. Let's see if I can quickly attend to them before I call off the class. And don't forget, like I said, next week Saturday is going to be another powerful session. If we cannot do it, we will not advertise for it. Okay, so I'm going to also be live to train teenagers. That is free for only teenager. Adults, you pay 3,000 naira. It's just a recharge card money just to join that session. If you are interested to join that class, you want to register before that day, you can also WhatsApp me. And then there is a WhatsApp group where we have assembled all the teenagers that have showed interest already. So if you want your ward to join that class, come across this video, please kindly chat me so that I can add you there, whether you are coming for the class or not, but you would like to join the subsequent one. you can also, for that group, it's just for teenager. Adults, we have a separate group for you. But as parents, you can represent your child there so that you can pass the information across. After that training, there might be certification for them based on request. Any question, please? There's no question. Please, question time. If you have somebody sent a message, you are all welcome to us. Thank you. We are all welcome. We are all welcome. We really appreciate you for joining. All right, so you really made this a success. Okay, please kindly unmute one after the other and just say good night, good night, good night. Let me just confirm from your end that you have accepted to bring.
Good,
Thank you, thank you,
good night.
thank you,
Come after.
thank you,
Thank you very much, sir.
thank you.
The class was really fun.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate. The video link will be made available in the main WhatsApp group, so you can still access it. Make sure you are there. And then invite friends, please, against next week class, please. Thank you.